All right, we're live.
Hey, we did it.
Whew. Feels like just
Well done,
yesterday we started
everybody.
this.
So who stayed up the most?
I think
Who do you
Leone
think
and I,
stayed up the
know.
most? Was it
I think
Leone?
Leone.
and I were tied.
Leone
Not
did
by
it?
But
much.
Leone stayed up longer, if that makes sense, because she was up till like 5 or 6 in the morning by the time she crashed the first time. I tapped out at like 1:30. So, yeah.
I think
But
one of the Johnnies
Ian was
left
around a
as
lot
well.
too, though. He wasn't.
Yeah, Ian, yeah.
Yeah, like a few hours somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Is Ian on now?
Ian's on now, yeah.
it is,
Oh,
yeah.
there we go, Ian. All right,
I
excellent.
think what I like the most about this year, I mean, apart from the talks that were awesome, and I have a couple of favorites that we'll loop back to after, is if you look at all the ID24 thumbnails down the side, all of the thumbnails. Sorry, I had things playing in the background, and it was like me talking to me, and I sound awful. What I liked was if you look at all the thumbnails down the side of the thing, it's all big bearded dudes. It's like the whole thing is like Ian and me and Chris O'Brien and Bryce, who doesn't have a beard anymore, but he's still a big dude, and it's just ridiculous.
That's your thing, Billy?
Well, I mean, I think it's funny. Yeah.
Oh.
There we go.
I think Henny and Cordelia and I might take some umbrage at being lumped into the hairy dude category.
Right, I would agree with that, Leone. I mean, that's not fair, right?
That being
And
said,
by the way, Henny did stay up, like with an hour to go before her presentation, right?
She did, yeah.
That was pretty rough.
She did.
Henny was around too. She was cool. So listen, we've got a few facts and figures to share from the past little while, if you can spare me a few seconds. We had one caption writing company, ACS Captions, who've done an extraordinary job making sure that all the talks, all the chat, all the chaos and the conversation were as accessible as we could make them. And they captioned us through 16 hosts who came together from TPG to keep the day flowing, ensure all the mechanical hiccups got smoothed over, and made sure everything just went as it was supposed to go. They introduced 24 speakers who, of course, really did make the day in no uncertain terms. They came from 11 different countries. And as far as we're able to determine, we were watched by people from at least 65 different countries over the 24 hours. They came from 5 different continents. And between them, they shared more than 1,500 tweets. As we've just discussed, I think between the organizing team, we had about 10 minutes sleep. So we'll count ourselves lucky for that one. From the people who tweeted, there's a few people we want to name check, specifically Amanda Rush, Scott Vinknell, Gunnar Bittersman, and Sylvie Duchateau for just being up seemingly for as long as the rest of us have been and tweeting. In Amanda's case, well over 100 tweets to support us through the day and keep the message kind of flowing around Twitter, which was just absolutely extraordinary. I think for me, the tweet of the day has to go to Gunnar, who said that responsive design is adapting a design to an unknown browser. Inclusive design is adapting a design to an unknown user. And I think that really sums up everything we've kind of pulled together today. So thank you for that one, Gunnar. We have one last little bit of news I want to share with you. We announced at the very beginning of the 24 hours that we, thanks to the generosity of the team who's worked on this and all our speakers, we're going to make a donation to NV Access, who make the NVDA screen reader. So on behalf of the ID24 team, we'd like to donate $1,200 American dollars, which amounts to about 1,600 Australian dollars to the NV Access team. So yeah, we'll be getting that one over to you guys down under as soon as we can get the paperwork sorted out. And I think that's it. So thank you guys. You've done an amazing job. You really have. So raise my glass to you all. Thank you very much.
Is that the bottle of frog water? I mean, didn't you see a
Frog water.
frog bottle?
Oh, no, this is gin. Yeah.
Straight gin. It's like,
Yeah, it's just neat gin at this point, yeah.
excellent.
Yeah, that's what I've got.
I've still got my suspect copper mug.
There's nothing suspect about it. We all know what's going on.
I think it's called a jettison, I think. We've got some other news we wanted to share too. We decided, because we had a lot of fun, and we really loved engaging with the community over the last 24 hours, that we don't want to just do it once a year. So we also don't want to stay up for 24 hours at a time more than once a year. However, we will be announcing a series, or we are going to announce right now, a new series that TPG is going to put out called ID1. So it's going to be a series of 1-hour webinars with different people from around the community, hosted by various TPG folks. We're going to do these. We're going to start probably quarterly, so look for the next one, and probably sometime in the fall. And we're going to roll these out every couple of months. It's just our way of engaging with the community and just being here and keeping the party going year-round. So we look forward to doing that, and we look forward to, because we got a lot of great submissions, and unfortunately we only had 24 spots, and we have a lot of amazing talks that we didn't get to bring on. So we're going to contact some of the speakers. We didn't have slots for it now, and we're going to bring them out, and we're going to have them speak throughout the year. So we're really excited about that and looking forward to it. That should be pretty fun.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. And there'll be an opportunity to sleep between them as well.
Indeed.
That's true. Yeah.
That's good.
Or during them, and we're not going to judge. I mean, that's your call.
We've all got the day off tomorrow, so it's all good.
Yeah.
I have a question for Leonie. What were the 5 continents we had?
Asia, Europe, Australia, Africa. Hang on, what I got? How many more
Not
continents?
to make you work.
How many was that?
Not Antarctica.
Australia, Europe,
Not
Africa.
Antarctica. That's all you need to know.
South America.
So you need to count. You have to count New Zealand. Didn't we hear that?
Yeah, there's Australasia, isn't it?
No, New Zealand counts themselves as their own.
That's
they're
true.
New Zealand, New Zealandia, aren't they?
I think he said
I
he's
don't know
a
if that's official. I don't know if that's official, but we're going to count it.
he's a
We'll count it,
Zoolander
yeah,
now.
it's official enough for us as a Zoolander. You're right, actually. Yeah, okay, so 6.
That's cool. Hey, Gene. Gene, favorite talk of the day. What was it? Or the 24 hours?
Oh, I love Cordelia's talk. I think that was my favorite.
Yeah, I think she was the MVP for a lot of us. That was a pretty rad talk.
Gene stole my answer.
Well, Adrian,
It was
favorite
a great,
talk.
it was a great kickoff.
Yeah.
It was, and I suggest, you know what? They were all great. Honestly,
Molly's was the one who got me, because just the practical advice, tape your fingers shut, hold a bag of sugar, go stand on a crowded bus and test your app. I love that, because you can just do it.
I just pictured Leonie doing all of those at the same time.
Standing on one leg on a crowded bus, holding a bag of sugar with my fingers taped together, testing my app. There we go.
Aren't you supposed to pretend that the sugar's a baby, or she said something about having a hairy baby?
Yeah.
That was interesting.
But it was just great, straight from the heart. The things that everybody can do to test stuff, and I like that attitude. When it comes to doing this stuff, let's make it simple and practical and achievable. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I got to hand it to Matt, because he stuck it out. I mean, this is his first ID24. He had no idea what to expect, and we kind of just threw him into the churning water and said, "Hey, will you basically just show up and roll with the punches?" And he was pretty awesome. Matt, what did you think?
I loved it, and I'll say this, that I thought my favorite was probably focused on the 7 sins of Arya. I love that, and I thought that was a great presentation about the focus around that you can really make damage if you do it wrong.
Plus, there were good puns.
It's very true. Yes.
I think the Human Shield Award has to go to Mr. Johnny James for navigating one very difficult segment where the four presenters, Jana and Jen, had connectivity issues, and Johnny had to constantly step in and improvise because they just kept cutting to the poor guy. He's just like, yeah. So,
and Jen and Jana themselves were staying cheerful as well.
Have a connection to the internet.
we don't know what happened there. It's just
just
dial-up
luck, I think.
modems are not as good as they used to be. It's weird.
My question for Bakir is, what movies is he going to do next year? Because he tried to drop 3 or 4 movies, and we're going to make him work at this next year, because he can't use the same 3 or 4.
Yeah, we'll get him back.
No, I made the mistake of using Simpsons one year, and Carl still hasn't let me live it down. He's still teasing me about it. So
I think we had some more on the kind of the practical stuff from my point. I liked Cynthia's, talk about getting some usability testing done. That's something so many companies struggle with, and they just really managed to, again, kind of make it practical and achievable.
Yeah,
and got such a wealth of information out of it. I really love that idea.
That was a pretty prevalent theme this year, right? Like we didn't know it coming in there, but I mean, testing with users was. I mean, we've all known this. That it's something you should always do, but like just the fact that so many talks touched on that, regardless of whether or not the talk was actually about that, it's got sort of an interesting thread.
What was great is that they were talking about it not as accessibility testing, but just testing, and I think that was really important.
And a nice blend of big companies. We sort of heard from people at Microsoft and Starbucks and Facebook, of course, and the different ways they're kind of doing this stuff. And then down to people who are working as freelancers and individuals, and every point in between. And I think it's nice to get that kind of cross mix of flavors.
For sure. I mean, Jessie's talk was amazing, but I mean, pretty much everything Jessie does is amazing. She's she's brilliant. I mean, I've never seen a talk of hers that hasn't blown me away in some way. Like.
Right. I kept thinking questions to ask her, and then 3 seconds later she'd answer them before she was that thorough with stuff. It was just, damn it!
Those are just the Facebook metrics going through your headsets, and they can read your brain.
She knew what you were going to ask her. Yeah. So I have to admit, because I didn't get to watch every talk, I am planning on doing the ID24 version of Netflix and chill. Maybe not the chill part. And I figured I would just do the entire weekend, all 24 hours. I would mainline that maybe this weekend to catch up on the ones I missed. Because there are some good ones in there I still haven't seen.
Yeah. There are some fantastic talks. And I mean, even not just this year. I mean, like this is 4 years now. So we've got, 48 talks out there that are pretty incredible.
Yeah.
There's a lot of content.
The one, of course, we can't forget is Henny's talk on the inclusive design principles, which a group of us has been working on for a little while. We've had input from many of our friends and colleagues from TPG and across the industry, and hopefully that'll go out there and be a really useful resource. And what was really remarkable is that I missed Henny's talk myself, and when I woke up, she'd given the talk and we'd launched the guidelines, or the principles, sorry, and already people were coming back and saying, hey, we can translate this into German for you. A guy called Tim came forward and did that, and people kind of already submitting kind of issues and pull requests and all these things. So just again, the community coming together to get stuck in and make something even more than it was. It's great.
My goal for next year is to know what 24 times 4 is, because maybe I'll say 96 instead of 48 next time.
I don't think
And the fact that none of you corrected me shows that we've all been awake for so many hours.
Yeah.
I thought it was 12.
Can somebody mute him? I mean, seriously.
What? Somebody said mute Matt?
No. Mute Billy.
That's what I heard. No.
Well, in about 2 minutes, you'll never have to hear from me again.
I doubt that. Come on.
That's true. It's on Monday.
Yeah.
We've already got a couple of minutes left anyway, so we should just wrap it up here before our poor caption writer runs out of steam completely for the day.
With all the over-talking going on.
Yes. Yeah, I don't imagine it's been easy for any of our caption writers to do their jobs today, but we're immensely grateful for their talent and skill. Thank you very much again.
Thank you.
Indeed.
I'd like to raise a glass to all of you and our captioners as well, because I think this came off really well. Overall, I think it was a great production.
Amen.
Well done, team, and well done, everybody out there in the community. Thank you.
Cheers. We'll see you next year. We'll end at that.
See you next year.